everyone. We are at Fetch in San Diego, and I'm with the fabulous Dr. Mary Gardner, who's one of my speaking buddies. We end up at a lot of conferences together. We've known each other for only 2 years, but I feel like I've known you forever. And I love Mary so much. I really, really do. And one of the things, Mary, you're, what's the proper term for co-owner, co-founder
yeah.
of Lap of Love, which is not what you think it is the first time.
Brown cow, chicken brown cow.
I think, no, it wasn't Vegas when I first met you, it was Florida.
No, it's
but
Florida.
Tell everybody real quickly what Lap of Love is.
Lap of Love is a nationwide practice dedicated to end-of-life care in the home. So we primarily do in-home hospice and euthanasia services.
And it's pretty amazing. And so how many vets do you have working for you now?
Almost 130 veterinarians.
And how many states?
Gosh, I think it's about 30 states and it's 60 locations.
Yeah.
And we bring on about 2 vets a month. So that's why I get hazy on how many.
But it's amazing.
Wonderful.
So she started this with her co-founder, which is Dr. Danny McVetti. Donnie. Anyway, so we are in between breaks at Fetch in San Diego. We don't have a ton of time.
I know.
But I did want to jump on with Mary. And so, Mary, one of the things that you lecture on, you talk about senior care, and she also talks about euthanasia. And I have to tell you, I don't think I learned as much as I needed about euthanasia to make it as wonderful as it can be. And so you have dedicated so much of your energy to making this end-of-life experience better for the pet and better for the owner. And it's such a beautiful thing what you do, and I have learned so much from you over the years. I really, really have. So maybe you can share...
It's mutual.
Oh, there's a lot of love here. Maybe you could share 1 or 2 tips for our veterinarians and veterinary team members that are watching.
Okay, so for euthanasia?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I always think about what would I do for my own pet, right? And
exactly.
so that's basically my rule. And I encourage you to go through your experience. So map the client experience from the phone call to entrance to the room to the techniques, and see if that's what you would do for your own. And if it's not, then you should elevate it to be that way. And so a couple of things that clinics are challenged with, because it's not just veterinarians that I work with, it's because the euthanasia experience is the whole experience, right?
Exactly.
It's not just sedation and euthanasia solution. It's how they call in and the pricing and things like that. So some tips that I would give the front desk or the front staff is to work with the owner or the practice manager about the pricing, because that is a challenge of discussing how much it's going to cost to say goodbye to your best friend.
Right.
And if you've got 6 different price breaks for weights for cremation, that's a challenge. But to just have it very simple for the front staff to talk to the owner about the pricing.
Because it's already such a challenging conversation, and everyone's upset, and they're all emotional.
So you don't want to sit there and
everybody's all hyped up already, and then you're making them. They're like, well,
calculate this.
Well, my dog is 71 pounds, so it's going to cost that much more.
And I want to have this.
Should I wait a week so he's
so he's
weight? I'm not kidding.
No, I know. So you want to have it really easy, because if you have the price quick and easy, then you can focus on the rest of the conversation, and make that phone call a little bit better. And so then the day of the appointment, have an end-of-life care advocate in the clinic that is dedicated to making sure that I know what car the client's coming in. I know they're going to come in a white Ford Explorer, so I'm going to look 10 minutes before. Can you put, I was at Starbucks.
Do you actually recommend that they ask the owners what they're driving when they book the appointment?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
So
I love that.
Why not? Think about, you got Rusty, the 70-pound Labrador that's got the 71.
We're going to wait till next week.
He's still 69 pounds, so it's not so good. But, he's got arthritis, so how is he going to get out of the car and walk into the clinic? And then, so it's going to be a challenge. I was at Starbucks the other day, and when I pulled up, they had a little T thing that had a chalkboard. And so on the chalkboard, it said parking for mobile,
pickup
orders. Yeah. And so I'm like, you know what? Have a little chalkboard that you put out, Rusty Smith. You don't need to say Angel Wings or anything like that, but reserve for Rusty Smith. So that way the family's got a spot near the front, so it's not as difficult for Rusty to get into the clinic. And then have bath mats and yoga mats as a carpet, if you will, to
Yeah.
go to that room, because so many of these mobility issues, and they're going into the clinic and it's like an ice rink when they walk in.
Right.
It's just slippery. So those are for like the mobility guys.
Yeah.
But what can you do to make it better and make the experience just not so cold and sterile? Because that's what they're all complaining
one of the
about.
worst euthanasia experience was my own pet, and my husband and I were in between jobs and in between clinics, so
Yeah.
we had to call up a friend and be like, we euthanized Paige, which was my once in a lifetime dog. He brought us into an exam room that was like the extra exam room. There was like extra equipment there. I had my infant in the like chair, and like it was like uncomfortable. She was up on this awkward table. Like it made me realize like how I just wanted this experience to be over, because I was so upset to begin with, and it was like such a non-client oriented experience.
Yeah.
Like it still leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Like, and it's been almost 10 years since we said goodbye to her. So that,
And you remember that.
oh my God, and I feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
And it was such a bad experience. One thing that I would love to share that you taught me is, so you have a couple of phrases that you say are the better, like, don't say this, say that.
Mhm.
And so we'll see what do you think is the one that I like the best? Do you remember?
My suffering one?
Well, when you say what kind of choice it was, when we say like this was.
Oh, okay. This is actually
Yeah.
Danny's favorite, though.
Yeah.
It's Danny, I think, if that what we're talking about. So, because Danny,
Well, you're the one that told me.
I know, but she's the one who told me.
Okay, so we
Danny,
learn from each other.
Yes, that's actually a good point.
Yeah.
So Danny is fantastic on communication. Like, that is her jam. And so she comes up with, say this instead of that. It's just softer.
Yeah.
And so is it instead of we're making the right decision, we're making the best decision.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah, I
Okay.
love that one. No, but I
Because
really.
what's right?
Right, what's right? It's never
Yeah.
right. We always say there's no right, there's no wrong, and then we tell the owners it's the right decision.
Right, so it's the
And
best.
It's the best decision. I really love
Yeah.
that. And
I love that one, but my favorite one was actually one of our veterinarians, Brad, out in Philadelphia. He said this during one of our own CE events, and and so he said, I don't like to say suffering. So like when you've got the client in there and the pet, let's say is suffering, and the owner's like, I know he's suffering. I don't say, yeah, he's suffering, because what you're doing then is placing guilt on the owner that you've
Right, yeah.
allowed that pet to suffer. So
Exactly.
instead, I would say, he's struggling, and we're doing this so that way he doesn't suffer.
yeah, I love
And that, like, it relieves the guilt, because we sometimes can't help them with their grief. They're losing a best friend, but we can help them with their guilt.
Yeah,
And if
which
there's
can go
anything
on forever.
for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And so what can we do to make it a little better? And sometimes it's as simple as saying best instead of right.
Yeah.
And struggle instead of suffer. And just making the experience better, so that way. I love Atul Gawande, who's has the wonderful book Being Mortal. So every human should read this book. And he says that, our lives are our stories, and so our pets are part of our lives and their story. And in story, the ending matters most.
And it is totally true. And I have had relationships where I've taken care of pets for years through their cancer.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't go well, or it's on the weekend and I'm not available, and they're like, maybe I was away, and like they're like, you weren't there for me, and you're like, I took care of your pet for 3 years and now you're upset. But it's because it's the ending that matters.
It's the ending that matters.
And so I have learned that, and I've taught my team about making the experience better. We do the candle.
Yeah. Oh,
And
good.
so, yes. So that'll be our last trip, and then I gotta.
Okay.
Because I gotta set up for my next lecture.
I know, I have to go do something too. So I recommend having those battery operated candles
Yes.
on the front
We don't want
desk.
anyone's clinics to burn down.
No. So at the front desk in the reception, and then you can have a nice little framed saying or picture or whatever that says, somebody is saying goodbye to their loved one. And so if you lower your voices and and think positive thoughts or say a prayer, and so what that does, it helps everybody in the front room in the
Waiting room.
Thank you, the waiting room. And it kind of helps them stay a little quieter, be mindful of what's going on. And then also, when it comes time for their pet, they're going to remember that clinic respects this appointment.
Right.
And they exceed the expectation, and they do the little things that are going to make it better. And so so it just helps them. Now, I know also there's going to be like 1% of the population that's like, I don't want to know there's death going on today.
Yeah, we
Okay.
did get that once, but
Once. I don't practice for
yeah.
the 1%.
Yeah. I have to tell you, I'm also super lucky. So the new clinic that I'm at,
Yeah.
Veterinary Cancer Center, we have our say goodbye room, our euthanasia room. It
Yeah.
has its own door to the
Oh,
outside.
to the outside. That's nice.
Which, you know, I've always gone to lectures where they talk about you should, you know, not make them walk through the waiting room and stuff like that. So when they built this building a couple years ago,
That's good.
they designed it. So
That's good. If you could do it,
yeah.
I covet that. That's nice.
No, I know. They
That's
can
nice.
escape without having to see all the. Well, you know, especially if it's a big hospital and you're seeing all these other animals, that's the last thing you want to see after you've
No.
said goodbye to your special companion. All right, Mary, I love you. Everybody, where can they find Mary?
Oh, so Lap of Love is the company name, and then drmarygardner.com is my personal website.
And
so,
she's on Instagram.
and I'm on Instagram, Dr. Mary Gardner, and
Yeah.
Facebook, and come to sessions that we're at. So
Yeah.
basically, wherever Sue is, I try to be.
We'll be at VMX. We'll
Yes,
be at
VMX,
Western.
I'll be at Western, not speaking, but dancing.
Okay. And if
I'll
it's
see
in
you
Vegas,
at
she's
Eye Candy.
dancing. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you.
Thank you for having me. I love you too.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, everyone. So we are at, I was going to say CVC.
So you could have just left
Take
it
two.